What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to the spot. We kick back and react to all kind of different things. All right, so what we got going on today? Casual Geographics has dropped a new one. All right, this one is called Animal Facts We Should Have Left in 2024. All right, so I guess we're going to go over craziest animal things happening in 2024. I'm here for it. I'm ready. Let's go.
These saltwater crocodiles in Indonesia have apparently learned how to pretend to be drowning to lure humans in who they view as prey.
I'm gonna call this Animal Facts We Should Have Left in 2024, because after this, I will not be speaking on this anymore. So this video went viral for obvious reasons. I really thought it was a joke, but from the comments and the sheer volume of people that tagged me, I guess not. So yeah, they're not pretending to drown. But the truth might actually be worse. You see these tiny dots, these pits on the crocodile? Well, they're pressure sensors, and a microdose trypophobia means a prehistoric sawtooth sledgehammer can detect the smallest vibrations in the water. A butterfly can go skinny dipping, and the oversized assault gecko can pinpoint its exact location. In fact, it's scientifically proven. You could blindfold a crocodile in a sensory deprivation tank and drip a leaky faucet's worth of water. They'll know exactly where it's coming from. Their jaws are more sensitive than fingertips, and it's why you can get away with this until a drop of sweat hits their mouth and you get your melon split like Fruit Ninja. It's also why if you see this, be wary. That's a pre-typed obituary. In especially murky water, a crocodile will basically T-pose with a side of spirit fingers to maximize their sensitivity to any disturbances, and any fish
T-pose the side of spirit fingers. I love it.
in its hitbox gets filleted. So yeah, you got a plus-size sentient snare trap beast breathing like a Inosuke, but this armored demon's the only one slaying. So that could be what's happening here. Or maybe the croc caught a body and just won't let go. Or he could just be dead, but definitely not pretending to drown. I mean, that would imply that someone witnessed the same living plot armor that disregarded 2 extinctions in water and tried to be a hero, and apparently did it enough times for the crocs to catch on. And it's not like crocs are stupid. Mugger crocodiles have been recorded using twigs and sticks to bait nest-building birds like egrets into getting close enough to get fouled. Some Cuban crocs have been trained to respond to commands and even come running when called by name. Oh yeah, they can run, by the way. Crocodiles have also been known to work as a team, where
That's the scariest thing. I remember as a kid when I first learned that crocodiles could run. What was it? I know they're all different and everything. Crocodiles, alligators, stuff like that. Caimans. I can't remember which one, but I saw one on like this show in like Australia and everything, and they showed him clock 35 miles an hour. Craziness. These things aren't slow. Don't play around thinking, oh, he's not fast enough to get me. They'll get you. They'll get you.
researcher witnessed one scare a pig into a lagoon directly where 2 others were waiting. Hell, they even warn you in Australia to never camp or get water from the same place more than twice, because a croc will really recognize the pattern, memorize your routine, and then be right there to cancel your life subscription the next time. So yeah, for a brain in the weight class of a walnut, crocs aren't dumb, but sympathy baiting? That's a Bikram yoga stretch, and what surprised me the most was just how many articles reposted that video repeating it. Like, they really have people out here thinking reptiles unlock the power of manipulation. Now, to be fair, that might seem obvious to you, but to someone who doesn't yap about animals for a living, or, watch them, seeing it in an article could be all it takes, and like a verbal virus, it doesn't take much for it to spread.
So true. So true. I don't know how many things I've had to spend time correcting people on. Like, no, that was wrong. That was wrong. Because people will just believe anything without doing their due diligence and research. And then the biggest thing, we need more than one examples. Even if you wanted to say maybe that one crocodile figured out how to do that. That means nothing to the entire species. That's not crocodiles figured it out, which that one crocodile most certainly did not. But I'm just saying, for the sake of argument, if that one crocodile figured out how to do that, he would have to survive long enough to teach that behavior to other crocodiles and have it spread until it becomes a thing, which obviously it has not. Unless we can get multiple accounts, not just one, then consider that a one-off, or you never know what that one crocodile was doing,
So for the sake of my mental health, I'm working with ground news. Because if I have to argue with one more comment, I'm gonna lose something. My mind, my fans, my freedom, it might get critical. Ground News is an app and website made by a former NASA engineer who saw a very real problem with the way information can be used as a weapon, and how news outlets often feed on folks' biases. And the thing is, if you think you can't be swayed by bias, then you're exactly the type of person to fall for it. Ground News counters that by gathering all the world's news in one place so you can compare coverage. No tunnel vision here. You get to see the entire picture and actually be informed. Like with the crocodile story. Here you can see it was covered by a modest 13 sources, and in terms of bias towards one side, code on screen to subscribe. But until you do, I'll just tell you, they're not pretending to drown. They're smart, they're not that smart. Like I said, these stories only get airtime when people think a wild predator has the same thought process as a person. That's exactly how you get this. You know, to this day, I don't know where this came from. We're talking about
Like, why would anybody believe that? Why would a predator want to feel mercy just for seeing more food? Like, the thought process in that statement is so flawed in so many ways. Even without the real explanation, it's just like, no, that makes no sense.
otters. They're not exactly the emblem of empathy. Male sea otters will literally kidnap a pup while their mom's out hunting and hold it hostage until she gives up the groceries. Otters don't mercy farm. You know, if nature's taught us anything, it's that a family ferret's more likely to throw its child into the abyss than ever try something like this. I mean, just imagine a sea otter trying to emotionally guilt trip a giant apex dolphin. That's another thing, everyone calls them killer whales, but orcas are bully dolphins on steroids, whose original handle was whale killer. Yeah, you probably heard me say this many times. Well, I was wrong, technically. Let me explain. But it will get complicated, so I'm gonna need you to lock in. After this ad, of course. So cetaceans are basically mammals that stole the fish's entire flow, not from fusing or merging, but from the evolution that's converging. There's two types of cetaceans, baleen whales, you know, the toothbrush bristles for teeth type, and toothed whales, for obvious reasons. Okay, now here's where it gets complicated. The toothed whale family reunion is massive. You got everything from your flipper paralysis demon, the false killer whale, to the virtually extinct vaquita. There's 10 families of toothed whales, and within these 10, there's a superfamily with 6 of them called Delphinoidea. Superfamily Delphinoidea is where you have your oceanic dolphins, porpoises, along with narwhals and belugas, because they're related for some reason. Cue the narluga. Also, notice I said oceanic dolphins. The dolphins that live in rivers are in a completely different party. But anyway, superfamily Delphinoidea is where you find the dolphins that, let's be real, are the ones you think of when you hear the word dolphin. And the biggest type of ocean dolphin is the one that can slapbox a seal into orbit. So to recap, any mammal that looks like this is a cetacean. Every cetacean with teeth is a toothed whale. A dolphin in the ocean is a toothed whale in the Delphinoidea family. And the biggest member of Delphinoidea is an orca. So long story short, killer whales are dolphins. Every dolphin is a toothed whale, but not every toothed whale is a dolphin. But every toothed whale is a cetacean. It's kind of like how every tortoise is a turtle, but not every turtle is a tortoise. So to answer, are orcas whales or dolphins? Yes. They are. By the way, let me know if you want a full video on that, because that was probably mad confusing.
How many of y'all kept that? I mean, I already knew all of this, so it wasn't like a review for me. But how many of y'all kept it? Like, for me, the only thing is I just can't remember the actual technical terms. I just understand the differences between them. I never remember the terms because, yeah, it's a lot. It's a tongue twister.
Because being an animal nerd long enough is realizing names really don't mean a thing. Except here, Black Panther is not an animal. You might be tired of hearing it. Well, I'm tired of saying it. And when I say not an animal, I mean, if you go to a zoo and try to find the exhibit that says Black Panther, you won't find it. Because it's not even a name more than a description. It's a panther that's black. And remember, panther is just any cat in the Panthera genus. So any lion, tiger, jaguar, leopard, or snow leopard in black could be a black panther. But because the mutation that causes it is dominant in jaguars but recessive in leopards, most Black Panthers are just jaguars with 10% tint. But Black Panther itself isn't an actual animal. That'd be like if we called every black wolf, fox, or coyote a black canine, but then acted like black canine was its own thing. It's not real. And you know what else? Alpha wolves are not real, I swear to God. Actually, they are. They are real, but only when you put a bunch of wolves that don't know each other in a zoo and they have to figure out stuff on their own. That's actually what happened. In the 1930s, Rudolf Schenkel studied wolves in a zoo, and after watching more fights in phase in a telenovela, he just figured that wolves determine group politics by tearing each other apart. Biologist David Mech built off his work and came up with the term alpha wolf. What they didn't realize was that the wolves were fighting over resources, not rank, and by putting a bunch of randoms in one place, they basically created real house wolves of Switzerland. In real life, a wolf pack is usually just 2 parents and a bunch of their kids. What folks kept calling the alpha wolf whole time was just their father. Now, because I've done this before, I know someone's gonna comment, well, if they're the lead wolf, they're still the alpha. The problem is, the whole alpha thing implies that the lead wolves got there by beating the others like a Cherokee drum. Really, it's just seniority. Also, another thing I never thought about until right now.
Plus, on top of that, the alpha wolf mentality also breeds the idea that another wolf can take over by killing the alpha. In fact, I remember as a kid reading storybooks with scenarios like that and everything where I forget the name of this one book, but the story in a nutshell, the point that I'm referencing is the wolf that was the main character had to end up fighting the leader of their pack for the alpha status, and then ends up breaking the alpha wolf's leg in their fight. And because he was wounded, all of the wolves converged on him and ate him. They made wolves sound super barbaric in the wild. And learning the truth about like how wolves actually operate is more of a family thing and everything. And the alpha thing only happens when we intervene and put them in that situation. It shed a lot of light. And I look back on that story like, man, the person who wrote this was so ill-informed. It was a good story though, but totally not realistic.
Now is once the kids get to about 1 or 2 years old, they dip and try to form their own pack. In a zoo, you often get the same adult wolves around each other constantly, and like any reality show, eventually that leads to tension that wouldn't be there in a normal pack. So normally, you wouldn't see any alpha wolves in the wild, and the same guy that came up with that would spend the rest of his career trying to take it back. And just as a final middle finger to anyone that still wants to argue, when the term alpha male was first used academically in 1921, it was by zoologist Thorleif Schjelderup Ebbe, and he was referring to... I'm not even kidding. He was talking about the hierarchy where lower status poultry will get pecked on by higher ranks. That's literally where pecking order came from. So the next time a man tries you with that alpha male just know he's taking cues from a temperamental chicken nugget. Also, chickens are confirmed psychopaths. If one chicken starts bleeding, the whole flock will jump in and peck it to death. I think the worst thing is that people took the alpha dog thing and got convinced that's how you make your actual dog.
Wait, they just did that on their own? So those videos of chickens eating cooked chicken, it's not us torturing them. It's literally just them being them. Oh, that's unsettling. Look at this. They're going at that. Like, you would think that you wouldn't just immediately try to tear up one of your own like that, right? Right? Especially when you could tell it's not like it's dressed up as something else. That is crazy.
Mental chicken nugget. Also, chickens are confirmed psychopaths. If one chicken starts bleeding, the whole flock will jump in and peck it to death. I think the worst thing is that people took the alpha dog thing and got convinced that's how you make your actual dog respect you. Cesar Millan has done an absolute masterclass of misinformation on the dog community. You really got folks thinking you gotta flex on an 80-pound pit bull to keep him in line. Imagine trying to play alpha with Cujo on creatine. We've gotten a lot wrong about dogs, and probably the worst thing, that a tail wagging means happy. That fact alone has probably gotten more people bit than anything. Basically, a tail wag means excitement. Excitement can mean seeing their person come home, or it can mean fear, anxiety, or the last warning before they put a canine-sized hole in your hand. And the faster the tail, the more excited Fido is. The question is, what kind? Well, science says a tail favoring the right means the vibes are good, but a tail leaning left could mean stress, so best to be left. Alone, that is a lot more complicated than I just made it sound, but long story short, a tail wag is like a smile. A smile can mean someone's happy to see you, or might even think you're cute, or that waitress is just doing her job and doesn't want to get hit on at work. Long story short, if you expect your dog to learn how to parlay people, then the least you can do is talk tail.
Yeah, I don't think I've never misinterpreted the dog's tail wag, because I don't just look at the tail, I also look at the body language. When they do the tail wag, lean down a little bit, panting and everything, that's definitely happy, you know? It's like, don't just look at the tail, look at the full body language, the full scope, because every movement means something for dogs.
Oh, another dog thing that's been bothering me for years is that Chihuahuas are the spawn of Shaitan. Now, I get the little dog thing. I've been personally victimized by many an ankle biter. But with dogs, there's usually a why. You just gotta look deep enough. Huskies are known for being donkey stubborn toddlers on 4.
Come inside.
But Huskies were also bred as sled dogs, and not only would they have to be independent and make decisions in a dangerous work environment, sometimes they'd have to be willing to go against orders if those orders went against their better judgment. It's actually called intelligent disobedience, and for football fans, it's basically an audible. It's pretty important, because you know, if Russell Wilson had it, maybe he would have ran the ball! Beagles are basically walking instruments, but they were bred to hunt rabbits in thick brush, and that same baying keeping you up at 2 a.m. is how they communicate with hunters. So why are Chihuahuas like that? You know, I don't even think it's a Chihuahua thing more than a little dog thing, but I have my theories. A lot of times, Chihuahuas don't get socialized with other dogs early on, so the first time they see a big dog, which like any dog to them is a big dog, it probably scares the daylights out of them. Also, I think a bigger thing is owners be letting a lot of bad habits slide just because they're travel size, so eventually it escalates.
I think that's the biggest thing. I think it's really like a problem with the owners as opposed to the dogs themselves, because a big dog will act the same way if they're not trained properly. Just like with actual children, you have to discipline your pets. And the discipline doesn't mean you're going to beat on them and everything. There's, you know, get a dog trainer. if you don't know exactly how to discipline them correctly and everything. Make sure that they understand. The entire thing is making sure they understand the mistake and they learn their lesson. And there's a method to do that. But yeah, just like you said, with little dogs, people don't see them as a threat, so they don't want to manage their behavior, or they think it's not a big deal. Or some people might think that the activity is cute because they're not big enough to do serious harm to people, but that's still allowing you to that's still creating a pet that is unruly, and yeah, and it's irresponsible on the pet owner. And yeah, it happens a lot with these particular small dogs.
Let it be a Doberman and suddenly they'll know discipline. Actually, that's my biggest thing. A lot of owners won't correct bad behavior when it comes from a Chihuahuano. In fact, I've seen a lot of y'all encourage it. I've always said if a Rottweiler acted like a Chihuahua for a day, he'd be dead by dinner. Also, often what looks like aggression might just be fear. And if your dog tells you he's afraid and you don't listen because you think it's cute, but that's how you end up with the dog version of David. Size might be part of it too, but it probably has less to do with it than people think. Long story short, if I see a kid wilding in Walmart, I'm gonna look at the parents. And likewise, I'm gonna blame the dog owner before I blame the dog. No clever transition, but another thing I've heard is that male lions don't hunt, or better yet, that male lions are lazy. And I can tell you exactly where it came from. You see, lionesses use the power of friendship to run down prey in open areas.
And again, that's something that's, again, not true. It's more of a nuanced thing. What is...
It's pretty hard to miss. Lions are bigger, bulkier, and with a whole afro equipped, they had to switch up the playbook. So instead, male lions ambush prey by camping out in dense brush. Research shows that male lions pack up prey as frequently as females. It's just that in the olden days, you'd probably never see it. Also, before male lions even get a pride, they're in their nomad arc. Oh, they'd be lying on the ground permanently if they didn't hunt. Now to be
Exactly. Like, I've watched, I don't know how many wildlife documentaries specifically on lions. It's like, yes, while the females do the majority of the hunting, that's when you have a fully fleshed out pride and everybody's doing a specific job. And even then, you'll see situations where if like they're going after a buffalo and that buffalo seems just a little too big and strong and the females are struggling, you'll see the male, the king, get up and take them down and everything. And then again, like you said, the nomad arc, not every male lion gets to have a pride. They have to build one or take one over. And not everyone meets that kind of success. So for all of the lions, all the male lions who have no pride, which is actually more than the ones that don't, by and large, they have to do their hunting on their own. And you'll see maybe 2 or 3 when you get like, siblings, because brothers do go out on their own and try to make a pride as a team sometimes when they have a brother. So yeah, females don't do all the hunting all the time. If it was really like that, we see a lot fewer males. The species may not even survive.
fair, male lions do stop hunting as much when they're in a pride. But not completely. They'll often get involved to bring down bigger, riskier prey like buffalo that lionesses might struggle with. Basically, the lionesses run them down and the main mercenary delivers the final blow. Now, they do only get involved about 10% of the time, but it's not because they're lazy. They just have a different job description. Male lions patrol the pride lands, mark their territory, and as you know, they gotta run the ones with any outsider trying to take his place. What you might not realize is, as good at hunting...
Exactly, and you think about like this. If the leader of your pride's primary job is to fight the challengers who's going to come and take over, mind you, if that challenger takes over, all the cubs are going to die while he does a sweep and everything, and all the females are going to have to submit to him. So it's in their best interest to keep the male who's in power. It's almost like the devil you know is better than the devil you don't know kind of situation. So do you want the one person who's supposed to do that kind of fighting worn out and tired from hunting? No, you don't. You want them to save their strength for when they really, really need it. So it's really more of structure than anything else.
Lionesses are, in some studies they got up to half their kills stolen by hyenas or even other males. Having a nearly 500-pound equalizer on their side helps them keep what they catch. It's not lazy, it's just that lions and lionesses help cover each other's weaknesses perfectly, and clearly it works. They're the most notorious and feared pack predators in Africa. Or maybe second, because there's one predator that animals fear even more than Mufasa and friends, and you'll never get it. It's us. It's us. You might remember.
It's always us. If we want to talk about the number one in any negative aspect to nature, it's always us.
Remember that an experiment showed that almost every animal from giraffes to antelope to even leopards and hyenas were unanimously more afraid of the sound of humans than the cadence of a giant carnivorous cat. Which is how, to this day, I still don't understand how this went viral. Or at least I didn't, because not only did I find out where it came from, I think I was wrong. Kind of. Technically. Let me explain. So, in 2017, college student Julia Haas posted a tweet saying elephants basically see us the same way we see puppies. Now, ignoring the part of the population that's terrified of dogs, the fact loses steam when you realize she got it from Tumblr. It's more likely that one of the smartest creatures alive see us as predators, but not their babies. Remember, it's proven that baby elephants that play the most grow up into more well-adjusted adults. It's why you'll see a baby-faced boulder chase around birds, dogs, and anything in between. So here's what I think happened. Baby elephants will treat humans like any other animal. Difference is, humans might be the only animal that'll see an 1,800-pound toddler barreling towards them and welcome it. In fact, the premature pachyderms probably realized that a hairless bipedal ape gives them their best response. So it's not really that elephants think we're cute, it's that baby elephants think everything's cute. Us included. And I'd bet that's where all the videos of 1-ton 2-year-olds manhandling people came from, and I wouldn't even believe that if I didn't nearly become one of them. Yeah, I went all the way to Chiang Mai to get bullied by an elephant's child. And I do it again. I actually made a video where I talk about it, along with why playing with one could be a bad time for literally everyone involved. You might not have seen it because apparently the YouTube lords did not care for that video. Probably because I talked about certain topics. If you know, you know, but if you don't, definitely give it a watch. I don't usually plug after I post, but I'm proud of that one. But that's gonna do it for this video.
Great video. I did react to it. There was one thing that got flagged in my version as well, but I removed it and reposted. So it is there so you can see my version as well as I react to it, because it was a great video.
Make sure you drink water, hug your mother, touch grass. It's good for you. And I'm gonna see y'all in, well, hopefully in this one, but if not, I'm gonna see y'all in the next one.
These saltwater.
Oh yeah, another great video. Oh man. When it comes down to knowing about animals, check your sources, double, triple check, make sure that the people who stating that this animal does this thing, that they have not only proof, but extensive proof, not just one video clip of one animal doing something, because everyone's an individual at the end of the day, even animals. If you want to make sure that it's actual, behavior of the species, you got to make sure you fact check thoroughly, because yeah, there's a lot of misinformation out there, but otherwise, just keep learning. Always keep your eyes open and always be wary. All right, but that was another great one. So can't wait to see what he drops next on here, and we'll be getting more animal videos from the other animal creators that we followed on here in the past and catching up on that. All right, guys, and then if you have any videos, animal videos, of course, you already know, go down in the comment section. Let us know what you thought about this one. Let us know what you want us to react to next. Like and subscribe. And if you really want to support this platform, you might want to join our Patreon, right? So in any case, that's it for now. So I'll see you guys in the next one. So as always, on to the next one.